Let's dive into the coaching merry-go-round at the moment. We spoke about Adam O'Brien, what the situation that's unfolding at the Newcastle Knights. But do you see any of the following coaches into the back end being under pressure? Because there have been a number of names thrown around. Obviously, Des Hasler at the Gold Coast Titans.
The drums are beating. Des is gone at the end of the year. The Walker brothers have got to get that job at the Titans.
Well, there's a lot of names getting thrown up. You've got Sam Burgess, Brad Arthur, Willie Peters and Josh Hannay as well.
You've got to think Josh Hannay's done a fair apprenticeship.
But why wouldn't you go the Walker brothers? Like, they get someone else, they're going to come bottom four. At a good year, they might come 8th to 10th the time. Just roll the dice. Do something different. Have a shot. Play an attacking
Are they
game.
coaching at the moment?
Oh, I don't know where they are at the moment. But they had great... Well, you would have played against them when they played for Ipswich. How were they to play against?
Well, you'd have to change your entire preview for the week. They were just... They'd sort of, you know, flick it out their ass every single game. You'd have to stay up for offloads. They would go short kickoffs every time, short dropouts every time. That was before the rule changes as well. So it was a completely different team to play against. And you're right, it was a mix-up. The first year they did it, they won the comp.
When it stuck, they'd be impossible to beat.
Impossible.
Would have been fun.
It doesn't stick, though.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. That's
the risk you take, right? That's the risk you take.
That's a risk.
But you look at Willie Peters over in the Super League at the moment.
He's doing great things at Hull KR.
Doing amazing.
And a great fellow,
Willie. And then you've got Sam Burgess. He obviously was at South for a number of years and he's gone over and taken over Warrington.
Played him in the final a couple of years in a row.
Well, do you think when Wayne leaves, do you reckon Sam will go back in?
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I think if Russell's still involved, like I think obviously Sam and Russell have a great connection, so...
Well, they're talking Brad Arthur going to Newcastle, but Brad's two sons are there, so I don't know how that'd work. Josh Hannay's probably the next one. Everyone's raving about him.
But you can tell us about him. What's he like?
Mate, well, he was my head coach in 2021 when
Where at?
At the Sharks, and John Morris got flicked halfway through the year.
Oh, was he?
He stepped up as interim coach.
Was he good?
Unreal. He's got a real calm head, and one thing that he has on his side, mate, players want to play for him. He's really good at getting into the psyche of the players. You know, he's probably a younger coach as well, didn't retire too long ago, so he can sort of get the best out of you. And he's got a really good coaching philosophy. And mate, there wouldn't be one person that I've met that would say a bad word about him. When you got that behind you, that's half the battle. You've got to be a good bloke as a coach. You can't just be sort of dictator these days like it was back in the day. He's got all the raps for him. If he leaves, I'll be sad, but I think he's deserving of a head coaching gig and he wants one, so yeah, be sad to see him go.
Do you see any other teams in the NRL under pressure in terms of their coaches? Maybe not necessarily...
About Toddy Payton at the Cowboys. I think he's doing a pretty good job.
Well, he's made 3 or 4 final series, hasn't he?
They're getting beat by small margins. You've got to win the close games, that's the key. I reckon they'll win.
I reckon the back end of the season he's born, because he's got a good lineup, Toddy, especially when you look at Tom Dearden and what he did with State of Origin. I think the problem you get with you changing coaches so often, you ever look what's happened at Parramatta. So now Dylan Brown's not playing. Dylan Brown's on $800,000 a year. So if you're a fan, Dylan Brown's sitting in reserve grade, you don't get to watch Dylan Brown, who you've paid your membership for, you don't get to watch him. Like I understand Jason Rolls has got a different idea and he wants to move in a different direction and watch Joe Ash play 5'8". But if I'm a fan, I'm going, well, you know what? I'm paying to watch Dylan play. He's in part of the salary cap. He's part of the club this year. You'd start doing that too much, all of a sudden every coach gets 1 year reprieve and you're sort of going with a different mindset and you want to move players around. But
I totally disagree.
Like I just...
Building.
What?
He's building for next year.
Well, you just say, well, if you're a fan of Parramatta, you don't get to watch Dylan Brown. He's on 800,000.
But they're not going to make the semis. You may as well give Joe Ash half a dozen games and say, this is how I want you to play.
Yeah, but why can't you do it and put him in the back end of games? Like, you're talking about a kid who's played one game.
We'll put him in and see if he can start.
He's playing Canberra down there. He went against Penrith. How did he go against Penrith?
It's a big test out in Canberra.
Big test in Canberra.
Big test, mate.
Well, he played Penrith.
Yeah, they got rolled late. I thought he was okay up until the 60th minute. They had a bloke called Nathan Cleary come off the bench, which helped them.
I've got to say, I reckon he learns just as much if he pulled Dylan out there for the first 20 minutes and then bring him on. I just can't understand why you would just throw Dylan Brown to the wilderness when everyone wants to see him play there. He's part of the salary cap. He's taken up a huge part of it. Make it work. If you change your coaches every 2 or 3 years, that means you're going to have players like that sitting out all the time.
I know what you mean. It does change the roster because every time a new coach comes in, they want to put
Put their touch to it, yeah.
Exactly.